Yes. Okay, this is Swapnil. Welcome you all to Mission Safe Hub. Today we are going to discuss. Today we are going to discuss about the preparation strategy for next 53 days. Am I audible? You can message
Yes, yes.
in chat box. Welcome you all. So today we are conducting this special session under guidance of Mr. Prathamesh sir. He has secured all India rank 3 in CAP of 2019. Along with, we also have the Karthik sir, who have secured all India rank 07, okay, last year. So, Topper will guide you about the very basic doubt. Okay, how should you approach next 53 days? What should be your revision strategy? Okay, how to approach paper one specifically? How to approach paper two specifically? And after that, we will discuss your queries or doubts. The first one, the strategy for paper one will be discussed by Karthik sir, and the strategy for paper two will be discussed by Prathamesh sir. Okay, so after that we have the doubt clearing session. In that you can ask your queries. Okay, in chat box we will try to answer the all the queries as much possible. Okay, so welcome you all. Okay, we are going to start this session. Okay, I request Karthik sir uh, to guide all the aspirants.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Hi, how are you? I hope you all are doing well. Yes. The only thing going on your mind right now is how to score 180 plus in paper one, how to score 90 plus in paper two. सिर्फ यही सुनना है सर, है ना? And then वो 53 डे स्ट्रेटेजी, यस, ये वो सारी चीजें अब डिस्कस करेंगे ही हम लोग, वो तो है ही. But before going directly straight to the topic, I just want to discuss few things. They are not specifically related to paper one as such, but in general, planning the few things which you should keep in mind, which makes a plan very feasible and no implementable one. वो सारी चीजें जो होती है वो थोड़ी डिस्कस करेंगे, which will help you in later course to design a plan for yourself. Okay, so coming to that point, for any good plan or for any good strategy, it's very important to understand three things, very basic. First is, what resources do you have? By resources, I don't mean only material resources, but you yourself as a resource is also important to analyze. Second thing is time, and third is the objective. तभी आप अच्छा प्लान बना पाओगे. ये तीन चीजें आपको क्लियर होनी चाहिए. I'm not audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, right. So about point 2 and 3, time and objective अगर बात करें तो वो मोर और लेस सबके लिए सेम है. सर टाइम तो बात करें वो 53 स्ट्रेटेजी, वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस इट लेटर ऑन. अभी से 53 चीज बचे हमारे पास. स्टार्टिंग ऑब्जेक्टिव वो भी हम ऑलरेडी डिस्कस कर ही चुके हैं सर कि ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है, हमको 140 प्लस 90 प्लस इंटरव्यू में 100 प्लस लाने. ओके, वो सारी चीजें सबके लिए वो सेकंड एंड थर्ड पॉइंट तो सेम ही है. जहां पे आप डिफर करने वाले हो, where you are going to differ is first point, your resources, and you yourself as a resource is very important to analyze. You yourself as a resource, what I am saying is, what I mean to say is कि आपका strength, your weaknesses, the areas which you are strong in, the areas which you are weak in, ये आपको खुद को analyze करना है. And that is the reason a generalized plan doesn't work well for the crowd, right? इसलिए आपको ये जो चीजें होती है पर्सनल लेवल पे करनी होती है. हाँ, तो फिर आपको सवाल होगा फिर आप करोगे क्या, आप यहाँ पे करोगे क्या? हाँ, वो हम यहाँ पे आपको ब्रॉड कंटूर्स देने वाले हैं, जो आपको एक फ्रेमवर्क मिलेगा, एंड देन यू हैव टू फीड द थिंग्स, यू हैव टू फिल द गैप्स इन इट. ये सारी चीजें हमें यहाँ पे करनी है, isn't it? तो वो I'll be giving, or we as the mentors here will be providing you the broad contours. We will help you to analyze which factors are to be considered, which parameters are to be considered to make a good plan, to make a good strategy, so that you can ace the exam. And we are saying this because this has worked for us. Maybe it may not work for you, but yes, you know the parameters to consider. ये तो भी आपको पता हो जाएगा तो बात आपके easy हो जाएगी, isn't it? So this is our motto behind conducting this session कि आपको प्लान कैसे करना है वो समझना चाहिए सबसे पहले तो फिर वो ऑब्जेक्टिव में ऑब्जेक्टिव ही 140 प्लस 90 प्लस दिस आर कैची थिंग्स, ये हमेशा सबको ग्लैमर लगता है, पर इसके पीछे जो मेन चीज जाती है वो आप कभी ना कहीं इग्नोर कर देते, तो वो नहीं होना चाहिए। एंड दैट टेंड्स इनटू अ वेरी गुड फ्रूट, वो जो प्रोसेस है वो आपको समझनी चाहिए। ओके, तो ये थोड़ी चीजें थी विच विल हेल्प यू टू डिजाइन अ वेरी गुड प्लान फॉर योरसेल्फ। Coming to the point of how to plan a good strategy for paper 1 in the remaining 53 days, I'll talk like कि आपके पास 53 days है, तो आप 53 days के लिए प्लान बनाओगे, so that would be a first impractical thing, तो आप अच्छा प्लान बना ही नहीं रहे। 53 days में all days are not same, you are not going to consider yourself to be 100% efficient on all 53 days. Okay, so you have to consider few days for n number of miscellaneous things. I'm not count the reason, right? जो भी है चलो मान लेते हैं 4 days buffer में गए, buffer days है, तो you have 49 days left with you. 49 days means you have 7 weeks. 7 weeks you will be having 7 Sundays, so 7 tests you will be attending, तो 7 Sundays भी उसमें से छोड़ दो, you are left with effectively 42 days with you. 42 days में भी 2 दिन और बफर के लिए छोड़ दो, तो you are left with 40 days. अब ये 40 days जो है you have to plan days very effective, और ये 40 days में ऐसे assume कर रहा हूँ कि you will be 90 to 100% efficient. 53 days में से 40 days की बात करें, okay, and that would be a good plan. 53 days के लिए प्लान करोगे तो आप कहीं ना कहीं मिस कर जा रहे, राइट? हाँ, तो 40 days में भी करंट अफेयर्स और जो एप्टीट्यूड वाला पार्ट है, जनरल मेंटल एबिलिटी वाला पार्ट, वो तो आपको हर दिन करना है, वो आपको हर दिन करना है, तो वो एक बात है। तो बचे 5 जो मेन टॉपिक है जो हमारे सिलेबस से लिंक होते हैं, वो है हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफी, पॉलिटी, इकोनॉमिक्स, जनरल साइंस एंड एनवायरनमेंट। आई एम लिंकिंग जनरल साइंस एंड एनवायरनमेंट टुगेदर। हिस्ट्री में आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग हिस्ट्री, आर्ट एंड कल्चर भी साथ में ले रहा हूँ। So these are the 5 broad contours which are to be discussed, right? So which are to be covered, sorry. तो 40 days है, 5 आपके लिए 5 सब्जेक्ट है, तो आप 8 दिन भी दोगे, 8 days per subject you are done with this. Along with that you are doing current affairs and general aptitude daily. तो ये आपका sorted plan हो जाएगा। ये इतना efficient होगा कि आपके पास already 6 days buffer में भी है, आप कहीं मिस भी कर जाते हो, any day for medical emergency कुछ भी हो, because in this unpredictable time we cannot अवॉइड दिस थिंग, तो वो भी आपको कंसिडर करना है। तो वो आप ऐसा अगर प्लान करते हो तो यू आर डूइंग दैट। अभी ये 8 दिन में भी इफ यू आर कंसीडरिंग 8 days ईच सब्जेक्ट, किसी का हो सकता है कि 8 कोई सब्जेक्ट आपका स्ट्रांग हो। फॉर एग्जांपल आपका हिस्ट्री ऑलरेडी 3 बार रिवाइज कर चुके हो, तो यू, और फिर आपका ज्योग्राफी वीक है, तो आप वो 8 days में से जितने भी डेज बचते हैं यू कैन अलॉट इट फॉर ज्योग्राफी। तो ये सारी चीजें ना ये पर्सनल लेवल पे करनी होगी। मेरा काम क्या था अभी, आपको ब्रॉड कंटूर देना। मैंने आपको कंटूर दे दिया है, आई हैव शोन यू द पैरामीटर्स, आई हैव गिवन यू द फ्रेमवर्क। इसके नीचे जो आपको प्लानिंग करनी है, तो वही मेरी बात आती है, यू योरसेल्फ एज रिसोर्स, आपके स्ट्रॉन्ग एरिया, आपके वीकनेस जो है, तो आपको एनालाइज करके ये 8 वाला जो फॉर्मूला है, कहाँ पे आपको 10 करना है, कहाँ पे आपको 6 करना है, ये आपके लिए पर्सनलाइज लेवल पे बेस्ट है। तो ये कंसिडर करके आपको अच्छा प्लान बनाना है। ओके, तो ये 53 डेज हुआ पेपर 1 के लिए। तो आप करोगे सोर्सेस, वो बात तो ग्रुप पे डिस्कस हो ही जाएंगी वंस यू आर पार्ट ऑफ द प्लान। आई एम नॉट टेकिंग मच टाइम टू डिस्कस दैट पार्ट राइट नाउ। I'll be discussing very briefly हिस्ट्री, जो कोर पॉइंट है हिस्ट्री, जियोग्राफी, पॉलिटी एंड इकोनॉमिक्स के लिए तो एनसीईआरटी फॉलो करनी है। जनरल साइंस के लिए भी 10 तक की एनसीईआरटी अलॉन्ग विथ ल्यूसेंट का जो पार्ट है, ल्यूसेंट पब्लिकेशन का जो जनरल स्टडीज का जो फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री और बायोलॉजी वाला पार्ट है, उसका आप वैल्यू एडिशन करो एनसीईआरटी में, तो आपको एक होलिस्टिक कवरेज मिलने की उससे चांसेस बढ़ जाते हैं। ओके, तो ये हुआ आपका 53 डेज फॉर पेपर 1, कैसे करोगे। सेकंड क्वेश्चन वाज हाउ टू स्कोर 140 प्लस इन पेपर। And now again this is very subjective thing, it totally depends on your accuracy, right? और यही पे आपको जो 7 days हमने अलॉट किए ना टेस्ट वाले, 7 days 7 Sundays will be allocated to test, so they are not allocated only for test, they are allocated for self introspection as well। तो टेस्ट होने के बाद आपको सबसे पहली बात खुद को एनालाइज करना है, to analyze yourself कि how much is my accuracy, at what number of questions I am playing well, कितना मैं अटेम्प्ट करूँ तो आई एम गोइंग 140 प्लस। तो ये सारी चीजें आपको उस दिन में एनालाइज करनी है। अभी 140 प्लस जाना है तो जाहिर सी बात है कि सर 70 तो मिनिमम अटेम्प्ट करनी है, ओके वो 70 अगेन इट इज a too impractical थिंग कि 100% एक्यूरेसी हम अज्यूम कर ले सर वी आर सुपरमैन हम कर लेंगे, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है। अभी ये किसी का 80 एक्यूरेसी होगा, किसी का 70% एक्यूरेसी होगा, दैट विल बी नो realized by a person only when he is attempting the test seriously, and along with attempting the test he is or she is introspecting it correctly, isn't it? तो वो बातें जो है वो आप तो खुद करोगे ही, बट जब आप एक पर्सनलाइज गाइडेंस के या फिर आपको हेल्प लगी तो हम यहाँ पे आपको मदद करने के लिए, isn't it? तो वो you have to नो प्रैक्टिस, वो ना स्ट्रगल ट्रूथ स्ट्रगल वाला जो फेज होता है, तो 6 डेज आप पढ़ो, 7th डे आप टेस्ट दो, एनालाइज करो, फिर से आपको पढ़ना है। तो ये जो आपके लैंडमार्क सेट हो जाएंगे 7 डेज पे, दैट विल हेल्प यू टू स्कोर वेल। अभी जिसका 80% एक्यूरेसी है तो अकॉर्डिंग मैथमेटिकल कैलकुलेशन तो कर ही सकते हैं। अभी 140 प्लस में आप, मैं ऐसा नहीं बोलूंगा कि आपको 90 अटेम्प्ट करना है, इसमें सब कर लो, वो सारी चीजें दे ऑल आर सब्जेक्टिव थिंग्स। मैं आपको यही बता रहा हूँ कि आपकी एक्यूरेसी आपको करना है, मिनिमम 70 तो सबको अटेम्प्ट करना ही है। 70 प्लस की बात है, आप 100 अटेम्प्ट करो, आपकी एक्यूरेसी अगर 80% भी है तो यू आर स्कोरिंग 140 प्लस। Okay, so this is how you have to plan yourself, plan your strategy, and introspect or analyze it at regular intervals. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि आपने बहुत बड़ा प्लान बना दिया 8 अगस्त तक और आपने कभी उसके तरफ मुड़ के देखा ही नहीं। This should not happen. तो वो आपको एक you have to set a limited micro goals for yourself in this macro plan. Micro goals set करो, analyze yourself. If any doubt is still hitting your mind, aching your mind, so ask the mentors for that. We are here to help you in that, and we and you your knowledge, we will provide you experience, and we'll have we'll come out with a flying colors. I hope with that, this is what the broad framework how it will go for paper, and I have discussed it. Remaining part जैसा होगा, जैसे time बढ़ेगा, we'll discuss it or in more detail. Okay. That I conclude this part. I hand over this to Swapnil again to take the session ahead. Thank you. I hope you all have got the points very clear and I was audible to you clearly. Thank you.
Thank you कार्तिक सर फॉर गाइडिंग फॉर पेपर 1। ओके, कार्तिक सर ने जो पेपर की जो स्ट्रैटेजी डिस्कस की ब्रॉड में, ओके, इसके अकॉर्डिंग ये फ्लेक्सिबल प्लान है, इसके अकॉर्डिंग आप खुद की स्ट्रैटेजी फ्रेम करो, ठीक है। तो ये मतलब ऐसा कोई नहीं कि कोई डायरेक्ट प्लान रहेगा तो उसमें आप डायरेक्ट फिट हो जाओगे, लेकिन जो 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 मेंटरिंग है उन्होंने वो किया है कि आपको जो बॉर्डर मतलब आपको ड्रॉ करके दिया है उसमें आपको करना है, ठीक है। तो इसके अकॉर्डिंग जो भी क्वेरीज है वो जो प्रथमेश सर का भी पेपर 2 का जो गाइडिंग सेशन है उसके बाद में होगी। सो आई एम रिक्वेस्टिंग द प्रथमेश सर टू कंटिन्यू योर गाइडेंस सेशन रिगार्डिंग पेपर 2।
Yes, I will start. Thank you, Swapnil. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I think Karthik has provided the broad contours within which you should prepare your plan. So I will directly start from what is for strategy. What should be your strategy for paper 2, and what all you should do and what you should not do while preparing for paper 2. So when it comes to getting the top ranks in the CIPF examination, paper 2 I think is most important, and that why it is also the most neglected part by many aspirants, as they do not practice more and more what is required for paper 2. If we can analyze, we get it is known that we can get around 70 to 120 marks, so it is a huge range within which we can get marks. So I think there are hardly any toppers, 5 to 10 toppers which score around 100 plus. So I think it is very important to prepare a proper strategy for paper 2 and then practice it rigorously. So first of all, I will tell you the brief structure about the paper. I think the essay is 80 marks. So out of 6 essay, we have to write 4 essays. Hello, is my voice breaking?
Yes, yes.
Am I audible clearly now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Essay is for 80 marks. So we have to write 4 essays out of 6. Then argument is for 40 marks. Then report is for 20 marks. And another is for precise passage and grammar. So basically, when we analyze it, we we will came to know that essay, argument, and report carries around 140 marks weightage in 200 marks, or on which is 70%. So I will try to focus broadly on that. That what should be your strategy for preparing essay, argument, reports. So I will like to share that there were many mistakes done by me in my first two attempts, after which I have corrected that, and I think I have scored around, I guess that I have scored around 110 plus marks in paper 2. So what went wrong in first two attempts and what I have corrected that. So I will like to share that. So first of all, my first attempt mark 7, I had not covered all the paper, and hardly one essay and one report was remaining, but still 67 was a decent score. Then in second attempt, I had covered the whole paper, but I got only 60 marks, and with proper content I had covered. So when it came to analyze what went wrong, so I came to know that I had covered the whole paper, but I had represented it wrongly. So when it comes to paper 2, covering the whole paper is not only important, but covering it with proper content is most important. So I would like to say that what we should do, for what efforts we should take to bring the proper content. So for that, I would like to share some do's and don'ts for essay. So first of all, we will go part by part in essay, argument, and report. So for essay, I think you should write in descriptive format. First of all, in my second attempt, I had written that essay in whole point to point format. I had drawn many tree charts, flow diagrams, and maps. I think I had fair worse in that. So the 60 marks was very worse as it came. But after that, I tried to practice it in descriptive format, which have worked. Then second thing is that you should try to start from a good quote in any essay, or like facts, reports, etc., which are suitable according to the subject. So if we try to start from that, I think your essay becomes more catchable or more readable, and you can fetch more marks. For example, if there is an essay on education, then you can start with that the famous quote of Nelson Mandela, that education is the best weapon you can use to change the world. Then like Jawaharlal Nehru has also said that children of today are the future of tomorrow for country. So like these quotes we can use when it comes to education. Then when it comes to women, then we can use that the progress of the country can be seen by the way its women are treated. Then regarding environment, climate change, the famous quote of Mahatma Gandhi, there is enough for everybody's need, but not for greed. Then as President Obama has said, no challenge poses a greater threat to future generation, climate change. So I would like to say that these quotes, when you use suitable to the subject in the essay, it makes it more catchable and more readable, and it will help to bring you more marks. As in essay, everybody writes same, one or more content is same, means body is same, but difference यही लाता है कि आपका introduction और आप conclusion कैसे करते हो. So I think we have to work on that. Body is important, but nice introduction and nice conclusion will help you to fetch more marks. Then besides other things you can use to make your essay more readable is that try to bring some facts, then reports. So also try to give more and more examples and case studies in the essay. So for example, while giving case studies, we can say that I have removed some examples like in education. We can give some case study. Had won the Global Teacher Prize, and for his famous project called as QR code. So when it comes to education, we can give this. Then for sustainable farming, you can use the zero budget natural farming, which is by Subhash Palekar. Then multi-layer farming models of Akash Chaurasia. So these case studies, if we use, and also in sustainable villages, we can give examples of Ralegan, Siddhi, and Hivri Bazar. So these case studies, if we use relevantly in essay, in in main bodies, in conclusion, then it will help to more substantiate what you are writing. Instead of vague writing, we know exactly what you are making the point. So it becomes easy for evaluator. So it makes your essay more different than others. it shows that you have the practical knowledge about the problems and also solutions which are giving through case studies, so which makes your essay more unique. So I think try to make your essay more unique than others by implementing these small things. And for this, I think you should practice a lot. So when it comes to introduction, body, and after conclusion, so conclusion should always be positive. Means suggest a proper way forward, positive way forward. If even if there is a statement regarding criticism of any education policy or anything, then also you should write positive way forward, so that uh, as a bureaucrat, means we are the officers of the country, so you should always find solutions or case studies and you should implement it in a positive way. Then when it for arguments, so I think basic structure in argument should be that you should give 3 to 4 lines introduction, then you should have at least 5 points in for and against, and then you should write conclusion. Basic thing is that for introduction you can use any quote or you can use any state current facts about that issue, and then start and against. So at least 5 points should be used in for and against. So write in, first of all, write the points in points format or subheading format, then try to write short points, avoid the vague writing. And I think you should not mix the context of the question, because I will give you some examples. As when we were evaluating the topic, I came to know that there was one question like India needs to focus on creating smart villages instead of smart cities. So we have to write context and then we have to write for and against. But when it comes in for and against, people, some students wrote that why smart villages are important, and then second one for against we wrote that why smart villages are not important. So I think this is out of the context of the question, so you have missed the content of the question. So basically you should focus on why smart villages should be developed, and in against you should focus on why smart cities should be developed, and not why smart villages should not be developed. And I think this question can be concluded like that, as a middle path, that smart villages and smart cities are both the need of the hour. So I think this broad contours, if you follow in argument writing, it will help you to fetch more marks. And second one is that don't give disastrous arguments against. Means there was one question like, should women be given leadership position in army? Then in this, then against points, there are some disastrous arguments, like some wrote that they are not physically capable, then one wrote that they are not exposed to outer environment, they are confined within the house, hence their leadership skills are not developed. So I think if you write these points in against, it will have a bad negative impact on examiner, and it will really affect badly your marks. So I think you should give some balanced arguments and not such negative opinions on the issue. Even if you have मतलब अगर 5 points सूझ नहीं रहे तो आपको 3 to 4 points will be sufficient, but don't write such negative points, and then you can conclude with way forward conclusion, with a nice conclusion in with a quote. It will help you. So I think arguments in sensitive issues, we should write it carefully. So this was basically about essay, introduction, and then argument. And then I think in a report writing also, it is like you should write an unbiased report. So write what all you are knowing, but it should be in a balanced way. And then don't give your suggestions, and try to bring the statements of some experts. So if I analyze, many students are not bringing some questions of experts, some analysis of experts, and quoting their views. So I think analysis of experts will help to properly represent what you are saying, and it will make your report more unique. So these were the broad contours that I had followed for essay, argument, and report. And I think you should aim that if in 140 plus, in 140 marks, you should aim at least 50% plus or 70 plus marks, so that you can score 100 plus in paper 2. Then I think overall strategy, if we can say that how to score more in paper 2, then for this last 50 days, I think you have to score around 195 plus marks, which is a safe score. But for that, you should follow that. First of all, cover the whole paper. don't leave anything unaddressed. So try to cover the whole paper if possible, and for that I think you should need a rigorous practice. You should at least solve 6 to 7 whole length papers so that you can analyze what is going wrong. So are you able to cover the paper with good content, and what is guidance from the top mentors or experienced mentors will help you in that. You can join any standard test series. Then focus on small points. Do not neglect anything, and I think do not keep grammar for option. Many people keep grammar for option, and I think these 25 marks are such that you can score out of out if you are correct in this grammar. Means in essay argument you cannot score out of marks. You can score of hardly 50 to 60% if your essay is outstanding. But in grammar you can score 25 out of 25 marks if you are correct. So try to focus on these small things like grammar. So do not leave it. Try to study the grammar. Then last thing I would like to say that you should practice hard. Daily answer writing is really very important. You should practice on a daily basis. So daily answer writing, क्योंकि पेपर 2 ये ऐसा सब्जेक्ट है कि वो बहुत निगलेक्ट होता है. So for those who are specially preparing for CAPF and those who are not giving other exams, I would like to tell you that आपकी कंपटीशन जो है तो वो ऐसे लोगों से जो कि यूपीएससी के मेंस लिखते हैं, यूपीएससी के इंटरव्यू दे चुके हैं, वो भी सीएपीएफ की मेंस आपके साथ लिखने वाले. इसलिए आपकी प्रैक्टिस जो है सो उनसे मैच होनी चाहिए. तो अगर ये 3 आवर्स का पेपर 2 कवर करने में उनको बहुत इश्यू नहीं होता, लेकिन हमारे 3 आवर्स के लिए मतलब बहुत ज्यादा लगते हैं हमें 3 आवर्स. सो आई थिंक फॉर दिस प्रैक्टिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट, एंड this serious practice can happen only when you write on a daily basis. So write on a daily basis, keep practicing hard, and I think don't leave any stone unturned. So this will be my conclusion, and I think I have addressed all your queries and it will be helpful to you. So we can address all. So Sunil sir,
Yes. Thank you, Prathamesh sir, for guiding all aspirants regarding paper 2. जो भी एस्पिरेंट है, जिनको भी कुछ क्वेरीज है, वो चैट बॉक्स में आपकी क्वेरी पूछ सकते हो. लास्ट 5 to 10 मिनट्स हमने सिर्फ डाउट क्लियरिंग के लिए रखे हैं, ठीक है. और जो भी लोग मतलब ये जो स्ट्रैटेजी अभी डिस्कस की है, ऐसे नहीं कि आपको एक दिन में आपको बता दिया और सब कुछ आपको समझ आ गया, ऐसे नहीं है. तो इसके लिए आपको इम्प्लीमेंट करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है. और जो कुछ भी क्वेरीज होगी, ठीक है, जो भी कुछ डाउट्स होंगे, वो आप जो हमारा मेंटरशिप प्रोग्राम है उसमें आप डायरेक्टली मेंटर से कनेक्ट हो सकते हो. तो जो नेक्स्ट सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ये है कि आपको जो लास्ट 53 डेज है इसमें रिवीजन कैसे अच्छे से की जाए. इसमें और भी बहुत सारे इश्यूज आते हैं, तो वो सारे इश्यूज आप मेंटर के साथ डिस्कस करके सॉल्व कर सकते हो. ओके, उनके एक्सपीरियंस का आपको ज्यादा से ज्यादा बेनिफिट होगा. Okay, so we have bring the mentorship program. You can join that. Okay, we have already posted the information regarding the personal mentorship program. Okay, so it will definitely helpful to you. Okay, we keep price very minimum. Okay, in that you can contact mentor personally. They can solve your queries. Okay,